And welcome back to the Gary Russen program, Evening Edition, here on GJRB Online. And thank you so much for tuning in as we are doing the Evening Edition on a Wednesday night. How about that? Isn't that pretty awesome or what? As we do part 2 of our show and having a good time doing it, and you want to be part of the show, you can do that by getting into my chat room. And I have the Radio Maniac on Twitter. Just find the Antique Radio emblem. You'll see our stream right there, the Gary Russen program Evening Edition, with today's date and part 2. And you can hook up with me right there and put your message. I'd love to hear from you. We had Ed Delgado at the opening gate of this show. So I'm hoping that maybe perhaps you are out there in the ether listening to the program. And I thank you so much if you are. And it's time now, though, to do weather on the 5s. So let's do that right now. And see what's going on in weather on GJRB Online here on the Gary Russen program Evening Edition. First off, let's take a look at some of the current temperatures across America. 69 degrees in Chicago, Illinois right now. 68 degrees in Detroit. 49 degrees in Bismarck, North Dakota. 57 degrees in Billings, Montana. 68 degrees Salt Lake City, Utah. 68 degrees. 63 degrees in Denver. And over in Albuquerque, New Mexico, you guys are checking in at 78 degrees. You have a severe thunderstorm warning for people in Oklahoma, and we'll have that coming up. Right now, 63 degrees in Cheyenne, Wyoming, 78 degrees in Oklahoma City, 81 degrees in Texas. Tonight's low, 58 degrees tonight in Seattle, Washington, 53 Spokane, 44 in Fargo, and 49 degrees in Des Moines, Iowa. Tomorrow it's going to be 64 degrees in Seattle, 69 in Portland, 77 degrees expected for Wichita, Kansas, 77 degrees Kansas City, 78 degrees in Cincinnati, Ohio. Here is Weather Nation.
All right, welcome back to Weather Nation. We're tracking a powerful winter storm to bring feet of snow to parts of the United States.
This
is right along U.S. Route 89, Montana, and right at the National Forest, the actual Lewis and Clark National Forest. This would be sitting up on some higher passes, too. Once you get up in the elevation here, you're going to be talking about snow and wind, and that wind already, you can probably already hear it out there. It's already going to start to howl pretty quickly on Thursday.
I know. We should like screen grab it before and after, because just in a couple of days, like you mentioned, a lot of snow is in the picture. And before we get to the snow, we do have some storms that will come with this system a little bit farther to the east. So it's all kind of connected. But here's Cavalier, North Dakota. This clipper essentially is going to be moving through, a little gustier on Wednesday for Cavalier, North Dakota, and some showers could be moving through as we get into the afternoon hours for this region on Thursday. So here's the clipper that's going to bring some gusty conditions into Montana, some showers into portions of North Dakota, northern portions of Minnesota. That's throughout the day on Thursday. Just general thunderstorms, maybe 1 or 2 isolated severe storms. The risk for severe storms elevates when we have all of that cool air that starts to follow in behind this clipper, this cold front, and crash into the very warm and the very moist atmosphere that's out ahead of this system. So as we get into the day on Friday, we're really going to notice that cooler air, temperatures in portions of North Dakota, South Dakota, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below average, and out ahead of that, the opposite. We could have 5 to 10 degrees above average for this time of year. On top of that, we still have some moisture being pumped in from the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to add to the lift, add to the buoyancy that's in the atmosphere. On top of the crashing air masses, that's where we have the best threat for strong to severe storms to set up. So you'll notice as we go into Friday from Chicago, almost Des Moines, Kansas City, Springfield, Missouri, all the way down to Oklahoma City, we're talking some pretty intense storms, and this is just the first and initial round out ahead of what that snowstorm will be farther to the west. So you'll notice Chicago getting in on several waves of heavy rain starting early afternoon, going through the evening hours, and then as we get into the latter half of the day, when we get into peak heating, more storms storms blossom. More of the heavy rain comes in. Some very intense winds and hail associated with this. On top of that, all of these storms are moving to the north and to the east. So they're going to be training over the same areas for several hours at a time. Maybe not the same cell, but several waves of heavy rain will be moving through. So that's why we have this excessive rainfall outlook. We have a slight risk for flooding from Kansas City, Quincy to Chicago, even into southwestern portions of Michigan. And then from Wichita all the way through most of the state of Michigan, we have that threat for flooding in general. And so we'll be watching for some heavy rain to come in with that boundary, but that's just the initial start to what's going to come behind it with the snow showers in portions of Montana. So Friday in Chicago, we're going to be in the 70s, cooling into the 60s with a mix of lingering showers and then a spotty shower or two on Sunday, and then we rebound right back up. And I'll leave you with one more. Kansas City, Missouri, same thing. Friday, active lingering showers and storms on Saturday before we dry out and warm back up. But as we head a little bit farther to the west, we are getting in on the vibrant colors, and then snow in the forecast, even farther west and north than this.
Yeah, the seasons certainly are changing. That's a beautiful site there in Leadville, Colorado. That is the highest incorporated town in the country, and you have a lot of the beautiful leaves. But take note of that video. Leadville, Colorado, highest town, sits at about 10,100 feet. And look at how many leaves are still left on the tree. Yes, it is beautiful, it is gorgeous, but we're tracking a storm that is going to be more so a rapid change to winter. And when you don't make the transition smoothly and you abruptly go from summer to winter, there are a lot of implications. So one of them that you saw in the video, fully leaved trees. That's going to lead to some implications of downed trees because we have a lot of heavy, wet snow and strong winds to accompany some of the ridge lines to bring down some trees, knock out power, and likely to do some damage here on our areas in the northern Rockies, north of Colorado that you just saw there, where we're looking at mostly up into the Canadian Rockies and down here into Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. This could be a historic early winter storm by some standards in the Montana climate books when it comes to September snowstorms. This could be the biggest either since 1984 or, if we get enough snow, 1934. So the biggest storm we have seen in decades. But we're here to get you through it. So first things first, what do we have for winter weather? So far, winter storm watch is in effect. Butte, Silver Bow over to Helena, Glacier National Park, I-15 to parts of I-90. This starts Friday, so we have another day or so to prepare for the winter storm. But it goes all the way to Sunday. It's a pretty long-lasting storm. Low elevations, about 3 to 6 sloppy, heavy, wet inches of snow, and 12 to 36 inches in the higher mountains. Looks like the mountain cutoff of that elevation, you're going to be talking about 8,000 feet elevation. Now up into the wind category, Thursday, a very gusty day. That's when the winds really start to kick in at about 3 in the morning, all the way through about 9 p.m. or even 6 p.m. more so precisely, local time Thursday. So far, past 24 hours, not too bad. Winds gustied up to about 15 to 25, but here they come. These are the ridge lines. You see them highlighted there. When they come over the mountains Thursday, they'll be very gusty. So if you're on the eastern side of those mountains, be aware of some strong downsloping winds. Sustained winds about 20 to as high as 40 miles an hour, but gusts to 60 to 80 on those downward sloping sides through Thursday. Loss of electricity is possible, and as you're driving, it's not a great time. It's difficult driving, and you have to watch for any trees to come down as well. Here's the precipitation. We'll have rain showers, changing to some brief snow showers Thursday. Thursday night, Friday morning, quiet, but then it's Friday night through Saturday and Sunday, developing low pressure taps into that cooler air that just arrived. And look at all that snow that comes out, accompanied by a lot of wind as well. Look at the snowfall forecast through Saturday. That is up to 12 feet plus in the high pink colors, and there's additional snow through Sunday. This model ends Saturday, and there's even some more snow that comes through on Sunday. So we'll talk more impacts in our Western regional forecast. That airs at 50 past the hour if you want to try and catch it. You can head to weathernationtv.com and watch it right now. And these are the sites in Puerto Rico. Hey, we're going to let you know what's up with Tropical Storm Karen when we return.
And there you go. Weather on the 5s. Take a look at the storm, winter storm. Actually going to have a lot of snow, 3 feet up there in Montana. So we got to give you the whole complete. That's a lot of snow for this time of year in Montana. Wow, I get a lot of that there, so we'll keep an eye on that one for you. And also, Puerto Rico's, and they got some tropical storm or hurricane or something going there too. And we'll be following that as well. Gary J. Russ here. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 45 past the hour on all music shows, 25 and 55 on all talk shows, or any time in the hour that ends in 5. And the Gary Russen program, of course, any time in the hour, we can do it earlier too. Sometimes I do it earlier so that I can get that Weather Nation in there. So I usually try to pop it in just a bit earlier, but we got it in time. That was absolutely fabulous. Weather on the 5s right here on GJRB Online. So glad you could be with me as we are headed in. We're doing another 45 minutes of nonstop talk and music, and we're going to do that. And I thought we'll just play some music and round up some people as I am putting some postings up on various places and chat rooms on the internet. So we're doing that right now. Doing a on MeWe right now. I'm posting there. And I'm going to put this also on my Pinterest page, the past couple of parts, because I forgot to do that the last time. So I am working on a rigorous routine, and that is why I'm doing program logs, again, to remind me to make sure I post whenever I come back from a break. I will post, and that's just like a reminder to do that, and I do that for that reason. And also, we'll give you my rundown program schedule, what we got coming up on GJRB Online the rest of this week, coming up, and our Spreaker shout-outs. I think Ed Delgado went to bed, because I know he has to work in the morning. So more than likely, he probably did turn in, because this is usually his sign-off time, usually around 9:30. I know he signed off last night about 9:30. So pretty much I think that he's probably turning in for the night. So he'll probably catch us in the flip on the on-demand podcast. So, even though I'm not on the air, feel free to play the on the podcast after we get off the air, because I always have some interesting things on here. So you might want to check that out too. And so I thought we'll do is kind of throw in some tunes and talk a little bit, and we'll play some stuff from my playlist, some of the songs that we've been playing, some of the favorites, and a whole lot more here on GJRB Online. We'll play Bill Medley and Jennifer Warren later too, with music from Dirty Dancing, one of the really good songs I like to play quite a bit here. So we're going to play that. And a few other ones here as well from our GJRB main playlist that I always like to do that. And, get some people out there, see if there's anybody listening. We had, it was great to have Ed on earlier tonight. And he's going to be doing some video. By the way, Ed Delgado does have a great YouTube channel, and so do we here at GJRB TV, and I'll be doing another video show pretty soon. Working on another one, got that plan. Remember, I do that freestyle too, so I can have one more often, because it's hard to do a tight show on that XSplit broadcaster, so I just do freeform. Anyway, why don't we just get back into music? I think that sounds like a good idea. This is one of our newest artists on the GJRB list, and we've been playing him for a while. I'm going to check and see if he has a new song. This is a song called Derailed, Adrian J. Pratt on GJRB. This is the Gary Russen program, Evening Edition.
Like opposites do. wasn't coming back again. Derailed, fears unspoken. Derailed, a heart that's broken. Derailed, that's all they say. Derailed. The day she just gets through. Life can be hard when you never know what's coming to you. Derailed, fears unspoken. Derailed, a heart that's broken. Derailed, that's all that they say. She knew just what that meant. Derailed, something she just gets through. Derailed, oh, you never know what's coming to you. Derailed, fears unspoken.
Adrian J. Pratt, one of our newest artists on GJRB Online and from our GJRB hit list, song called Derailed here on GJRB Online, our emerging artist list here on Spreaker. Of course, that's from our main playlist as we play new emerging artists all the time here on GJRB Online. And if you're one of those recording artists that like to get their songs played on the radio, at least on the internet, you can do that too by sending me your MP3 of your song. By the way, I'll be working on a brand new season. We'll be starting on Up and Coming, and that is the music show that purely dedicated to new emerging artists all the time. Up and Coming is a new music show playing all new music from new artists all the time here on GJRB Online. And I love playing all these new songs. And if you got a new song and I have room on it on the playlist, so it's usually I try to make room for new songs always, and getting up, working on a consistent playlist for that program is always a lot of fun because I always have to try to find new music. And like I said, in a lot of the new emerging artists, I don't own the rights to those songs. I didn't write them, but I'm proud to bring you new emerging artists, bringing you new music here on GJRB Online, and new emerging artists. And of course, I always let these people know, and I always go to them for the permission to play them. So I make sure that I'm doing it the correct way, and I like playing the new artists. So new emerging artists all the time right here on GJRB Online, and it's called Up and Coming, and I'll have a brand new episode coming up here on GJRB Online with some new music, and I love playing it. By the way, tomorrow morning we'll be back on the air over at the Church of Christ Studios, Studio B, as I call it. Tomorrow morning we'll be broadcasting there for a little while, and doing that is from our that's from my MeWe. If I have a MeWe opened, it'll signal me, which happens all the time. Let me see here. I'm trying to go back into my main page where I have the main source for the show, the live stream. Okay, I'm going to click out of that, go back to my live stream and see if we have any messages, because when I go offline to do a break, I like to make sure that I'm not leaving anybody behind. Nobody there. We're still on part 2, and we'll remain in part 2 to the top of the hour of 10 o'clock, and then we'll go to the last hour, which it kind of worked out really good tonight. I like the way I did that. As a matter of fact, I might do that again on Friday when we do our Freestyle Friday edition, because that worked out real good. So I have that logged to do that again, so that I get some responses there. I hope you enjoyed the show wherever you're listening. Just kind of playing around, having a little bit of fun. Hope you're enjoying the program, the Gary Russen program, evening edition for a Wednesday night. And the next Wednesday, I will not be on the air. No radio next Wednesday, because I'm trying to get some shows worked on. I'm working on another episode of Way Out There. I'm working on another episode of Radio, Television, and Movie Classics, and doing some research on a spotlight artist for crooners. So I'm working on that one. So I've got some stuff I want to do, writing some more programs ahead, and getting stuff ready to go on the air for October. As a matter of fact, that's always a big month, banner month for Radioland, with the annual running of War of the Worlds. And I'm going to be bringing back Radioland and relaunch the season. And I've got some more good classic radio programs for you. So we'll have that coming up. We'll talk about all that next hour here on GJRB Online. As we continue, though, to scroll
through social media.
And I'm going to go now to Twitter. So I'm going to go to Twitter now. And we'll come back to Facebook a little later on. I don't know. I was talking to Mike this morning on the internet phone through Messenger. We were talking about this. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe there's a setting I'm missing, because apparently he was telling me to check my settings on Facebook, which I did, but maybe because my Spreaker settings should be correct. But anyhow, let's go now. We're doing on the scroll through social media. And let's see what we got here. We got a news story here from the Donald Trump here story. Donald J. Trump and fundraiser days ever. Got a few of them. But Brian Tyler Cohen. Do nothing, just the President of the United States announcing that Nancy Pelosi no longer Speaker of the House. This is breaking, folks. What is this now? It's saying that Nancy Pelosi is no longer Speaker of the House. Is that
Nancy Pelosi, as far as I'm concerned, unfortunately, she's no longer the Speaker of the House. Thank you very much, everybody. And Nancy Pelosi, as far as I'm concerned, unfortunately, she's no longer the Speaker of the House. Thank you very much, everybody.
Imagine that. Now, I wonder how... This is apparently breaking at this time. This is from Twitter. They're saying that Nancy Pelosi is no longer the Speaker of the House. And anybody out there who might know a little bit more about this story, I'm going to check on other sources first before I go and say any more. Further on down the line, Amanda Beach, I don't know who that is. I'm going to go down further. Nancy, third in line for presidency. Somebody posted that one. Let's go down further. Oh, yeah, Omar. Wish they'd impeach her. Get rid of her. She sides with terrorists. I don't know why she's even still in the Senate floor. I really don't get it. Let's see, where else do we have here? I'm going to go to some of my notifications and see what we got there. Any interesting stories coming up here? Let's see, recent tweet. Okay. So I'm going to double check other sources before I confirm that story that I just heard here in just a couple of minutes. But there are other postings here as well that I want to look at on my Twitter page. There I am, the Gary Russen Evening Edition 92519, right there, the antique radio emblem. I am the Radio Maniac. Come on aboard. As a matter of fact, right there. So I am now in my Twitter page. And I have this popped up on my Twitter, and just click that icon. It'll open up my widget, and as a matter of fact, right there it is. I'm on the air live, You can listen live right there, and there is the balloon icon, the comic book icon that takes you into my chat room. So if you are now on Twitter, that's where you see that. The Radio Maniac. 25 minutes ago, that was posted. GJRB Online, and there is the rest of the podcast underneath, the 3 other episodes there. And you can click the balloon icon and get in the chat room from there. And talk to me live on the radio. If you don't want to be on the air, you can do that. Or just get in my, now I've got my Facebook open in the messenger part. And you can go in there and click my name there, and just when that little thing comes up, just click that telephone emblem, and it'll ring in the studio. And you can be on the air with me. How about that? Meanwhile, breaking, back in Facebook, breaking, Israeli President Reuven Rivlin has decided to give Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a chance to form a new government after the recent election left no clear winner. This is coming from CBN News, folks. I'm going to pull that up. This is an interesting story. Coming out of CBN News, Netanyahu picking to form a new Israeli government. And we get more of this from CBN's Chris Mitchell at the East Bureau Chief.
And right now, our Middle East Bureau Chief, Chris Mitchell, joins us now with more. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you, Heather.
Chris, tell us, how big is this decision?
It's huge. A lot of people expected that Rivlin, Israel's president, would continue to try to get Benny Gantz and Benjamin Netanyahu to form a unity government. He had another week, Rivlin did, to make his decision. He had tried to get them. He had them together for a meeting on Monday, and again, a dinner tonight. Obviously, they couldn't come and form a unity government. And I tell you, the numbers added up for Rivlin, and that's what he said tonight. He said that there were 55 that agreed to sit in a government with Benjamin Netanyahu. There were 54 committed to Benny Gantz, but only 44 could sit in a government. In other words, 10 seats from the Arab parties would not be able or not willing to sit in a government. So it was the numbers that added up to Netanyahu, which is why Rivlin chose Netanyahu to form the next government.
And how much of a piece of good news is this for Benjamin Netanyahu?
I think it's great news for him, although it's very challenging right now, Heather. Back in April, when he won more seats than any other party, and he was chosen to form a government, he couldn't do it. He couldn't bridge the gap between a secular party led by Avigdor Lieberman and the religious party. He faces the same challenge right now. He's 6 seats short of trying to get a government. So he has a possibility of going back to Lieberman, or he has some of the Labor Party, which is far left, and a Barrett's former party, which is even more left, to try to convince them to come in the government. It's going to be challenging for him. Right now, he's got 28 days to see if he can form a government, 14 more days if the president allows him that extra time, but we'll see what happens. But I think it's really good news for Netanyahu. He's really got a shot at trying to get a government together, and with his legal challenges, it could be good news for him as well.
All right. How's the Israeli public responding to all this turmoil in the government? Does it feel really chaotic right now?
Well, I think a lot of Israelis just want some sort of a stable government. I think most Israelis would like a unity government, and that's what Netanyahu said tonight he would like to do. Whether or not he can bridge that gap between all these divisions within Israel's political spectrum right now remains to be seen. I'm sure many of Israelis that voted against Netanyahu are very disappointed, and certainly those that supported him think maybe this is his opportunity to continue to be prime minister.
All right. Well, Chris Mitchell, a lot going on in Jerusalem. Thanks so much for your insights.
And there you go. That's interesting, that story. And And it's saying that Israeli, again, Revlin has decided to give Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a chance to form a new government. And Israeli leaders are now again trying to form a unity government after the country just endured its second election in 1 year. Prime Minister Netanyahu has proposed uniting the top rival, Benny Gantz, of the Blue and White Party, but that didn't work out. Final voting, Netanyahu Likud Party picked up 1 seat for final tally of 32 seats to Blue and White 33. Yeah, so you hear some top news right here on GJRB Online. You hear some late breaking news here on GJRB Online. You know, right here on Spreaker, right here on the Gary Russen Program Evening Edition. When you listen to this program, you do get breaking news when it happens, folks. I should get a breaking news sounder. I don't have to look for one. Anyway, that, and I got a few other promos to work on next week too, so that's another reason why I'm not going to be on too much next week. Let's see, I've got a few other things I want to do here. It's about 4 minutes now before the hour of 9. Well, it's about 4 minutes before 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time right now. 9:56 as we're heading into the final hour of the Gary Russen Program Evening Edition. This final hour, we've got some more great talk to do here. I hope you'll stay with me for that. We've got, let's see, I have our shout-outs to do. We'll do one more weather on the 5s for Clinton, Iowa. So I'm going to kind of skip this weather on the 5s so we pass that window. But we'll do some national temperatures again here in a little while. And do some national weather in key cities. So that's coming up in our last hour. And again, like I said, shout outs to all Spreaker podcasters. Some of the podcasters that were on already tonight that joined me. Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative, was on at the beginning of the show. And that was fabulous. Anybody who wants welcome to be aboard here. We still got one more hour to enjoy the program. So, stay with me here. The Gary Russen Program Evening Edition here on Spreaker across America on GJRB Online. And getting close to the hour. Want to remind you that coming up this hour also will be our program schedule, what I got planned for GJRB Online in October, how we're going to piece that radio schedule puzzle together, and maybe even be looking forward to that expanded plan as soon as I see a discount. Have not seen one yet. They were kind of either slow on the discounts or there isn't one for this month. Either one. So we're going to keep an eye on the discount for October if we don't see one in the next week or so. Yeah, that's for sure. Also coming up, I will tell you that, and maybe play a few great more musical pieces and stuff like that. Sports page even. As we're talking, I'm also talking about Antonio Brown, the spoiled brat who apparently the Pittsburgh Steelers, formerly of the Steelers, who's now going to college. So what did you think of that one? And we're going to get into that more. Your comments are welcome. And we're going to get one more hour, one more chance to put your licks on that one and see what you think. Okay? So that's coming up here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America, the Gary Russen Program Evening Edition, live on the air right here on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the program wherever you're listening across the USA, here on GJRB Online, where you're not going to hear it anywhere else on the radio dial except here on GJRB. Yep, that's right. Because this is where it happens, folks. Love every piece of it. You're welcome to be a part of the show. GJRB Online, here on Spreaker on a Wednesday night. We're going to get in the top of the hour licks, get our identification in here for Spreaker, and more of the Gary Russen Program Evening Edition in the last hour of the show. So we're going to do that. It's 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time right now. We're going to be seeing something different here pretty soon within another month or so, and we'll be getting to the standard time. But it's 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 9 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Pacific, and 7 o'clock in Alaska. And this is GJRB Online, and this is the Gary Russen Program Evening Edition on GJRB.
From America's Heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa.
And I'm Gary J. Russen, and I hope you're enjoying the program in the final hour. Let's get things rolling as we continue the Gary Russen Program Evening Edition here on GJRB Online. And you're welcome to be a part of the program. And if you like our show, please drop me a line here. I want to know what you think of the show. Hit that like button if you happen to be listening, even if you're listening on demand. Hit the like button because I love it when it hits that algorithms, and it becomes a suggested show then for people to listen to. So do that. And I'm trying to, and once I get into this firm, and I get, maybe firm it like I did with the rest of my shows, the Gary Russen Program Saturday Extra, and some of the other shows, want to get those on Spotify. So I'm going to be working on getting those shows on Spotify so that I can get some listeners, especially the ones from our church studios. We get a confirmed program where we're on the air consistently over there. Those will also be on Spotify. So you have a chance to listen to our show from there. So absolutely fabulous to check that out. And you could be a part of the program and enjoy the show as we're winding down our 45 minutes of nonstop talk here on GJRB Online this hour, here on the Gary Russen Program Evening Edition. I'm going to take a break here, and when I return, I'm going to continue talking about what's going on in the news across America. Your comments are welcome, and you are welcome to be a part of the show. Always glad when we get listeners. Please do stop in. Want to hear from you. And got a lot more to come as we conclude the show this hour. The Gary Russen Program Evening Edition will continue in just micro mini moments on the GJRB Online Network.